Hey everybody, just a quick message from Bonkers Network. We would like to remind everybody that certain topics of discussion may not be comfortable for all listeners. Certain viewpoints may not reflect those of our partners, sponsors, affiliates, our hosts, or that of our guests. We would like to encourage everybody to keep a respectful and open climate of discussion for all topics, no matter how disturbing they may be. So viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a brand new year and the world is getting crazier than ever before. And there's only two idiots who know best to bring it to you. Join Christopher Mole and Dakota Francis every week on the Bald and Bonkers Show. You never know what's going to happen. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, indeed.
When I said that,
when
I meant to put that in viewer discretion advice thing, I was not anticipating the types of discussion that have already been taking place as we were preparing to come live for this show.
I can honestly say I've heard some stuff in my life, but until I met Mr. Ellingsworth here, my world has just been opened up, you know. And if you want to hire Mr. Ellingsworth to come and talk to any classes of that, he's always available.
Oh God! You're going to get him. You're going to make it to where he's not going to be allowed near schools.
Come on! He looks like an old Ozzy Osbourne. You know, he's going to get that kind of rustic kind of look to him tonight.
Especially for how pixelated he looks. My goodness.
I know.
But if we should probably say this right off the bat, Chris and Drew are both having weather issues that are affecting some of their signals right now, so you may just get stuck on my ass.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies out there, you will be stuck with this handsome young man. There you go. I'm helping you. I've got to do this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, he's lonely. I just need to do it for him.
Well, yeah, because everybody wants a Jerry Springer episode instead of an actual, human-to-human relationship.
Well, we could kid when this is Jerry Springer now. Mr. Drew Ellingsworth, what did you come to Jerry Springer for?
God.
You know, I actually watched a video the other day, and they said, and this is from one of those big instructional groups on YouTube, and they said that the drama thing that's been going on YouTube on people's live streams and stuff have caused a noticeable increase in subscriptions. Yeah. So I'm thinking that it's logistically smart to do like a whole month of bullshit streams.
That's a good idea.
And then just all of a sudden stop. You know, once you get all those subscribers, then you just stop and go back to your normal stuff again.
I will see that.
So he's bald, he's bonkers, and I'm neither one. So
yes, but I mean, we did get past. Was it 2,000? 2,050 subscribers now, which is quite.
I think a little higher than that, but hell yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bald and Bonkers is growing. You know, I mean, I never thought I would see Bald and Bonkers over 2,000 subscribers within. I mean, how long's it been? A year and a bit.
Since, October was our first year anniversary, and shockingly, despite what all these people that try to throw shade at us try to say, we're still going, motherfuckers. And
you know what else was very surprising was the news that Dakota told me about our podcast. Why don't you tell us today?
Okay, we're going to have to get the guest that actually helped us get that high, to be completely honest with you, back on. So Bald and Bonkers, for those of you who don't know, we actually take the audio from these shows and repurpose it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, iTunes, all those. I was looking through some of the stuff, and in the year 2022, we were rated over 99%
of
other podcasts in the religion and spirituality category.
And
Christopher, there's something else that literally just happened, like just before I came on to get ready for the show.
What's that?
Bald and Bonkers has been nominated for a gala in Las Vegas.
What does that mean? What does that mean to
I'm not going to reveal too much yet because it's still very early in the process, but it's something I never thought could happen.
What does that mean? Does that mean that us two handsome chaps get to go to Las Vegas? We could take Mr. Drew Ellingsworth with us.
We have been nominated for some types of. We've been nominated for an award. That's all I can say right now.
Did you hear that, Drew? Well, if we're going, we're going to have to take Mr. Drew Ellingsworth with us. He can be our personal.
You guys have been nominated for the most bald and bonkers channel on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, but I will admit this: we are probably the only bald. We are quite a lot of bald presenters out there, but we are mad too.
I was like, I don't know, Chris. You got kind of offended where some of our other bald guests got rated above you on our IMDb page.
See, I've came to a conclusion with that, right? I'll admit Dave Schrader, right? Dave Schrader, he's up there, right? And I will say this, Dave Schrader is an awesome guy. I'm saying that not just because I'm a fan. He's also a friend of mine. And he's a great guy and he's a great what he does, right? Then we come to Mr. Brian J. Laverty, right? He was a hairdresser. Can you actually believe that? He was a hairdresser, ladies and gentlemen.
You have
Mr.
been so
Brian
obsessed
J.
with that.
But here's the thing. How does somebody like that become a hairdresser? I mean, look at me. He's an actor and all that. You know?
That
he was telling us
makes
the other
sense,
night.
actually.
See, when he was on my channel, Go Squad Scotland, the other night there, he was telling us that he's actually going to get an audition to be an insurance advert.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've been on those types of auditions before.
Hmm?
You know I've been in movies and stuff.
Yes, you have. Drew, what about you? Have you been in any home movies or any movies you've ever made?
Nothing that counts with you and your wife in the bedroom.
Yeah, starting to say Pornhub is about the only place you can see my movies. No, I've actually, believe it or not, as long as I've been doing historical reenacting and stuff like that, even though a lot of movies like Last of the Mohicans and The Patriot and Master and Commander, they all would go to reenactments looking for extras and stuff like that. I've never been. Being located here in the Midwest in America, they don't really. Now, I was an 1812 battle reenactment one time when the History Channel came in and filmed some clips for a documentary. And I think they got me in a couple shots as a French trader. But just like, I mean, I'm gone. Yeah, that
good.
Beep, beep.
Oh, what was that?
That was loud.
What was that? The beep from beyond? What was that? Was that you?
That was probably this one.
Oh, she's got his devices out there. That's all right. I've got the clamps. I look like I'm about to go and chop a tree down with these big earmuffs on, you know.
It's that little alien head back there behind it.
Is it? I'll have to name him. What do you name him? I've got to name him on air. What do you name him? What's it to be called from now on? Well, come on, we have to think of a name for him. What's his name?
I don't know. It's your money. You prostituted yourself in order to get those.
I know a lot of handbag swinging went into that. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, my back! Oh.
How did we get an award? Did you bribe somebody?
I didn't say we got the award. I said we got nominated.
I was going to say, but yeah, but there you go.
It's still very early in the process. I literally just found out like 5 minutes before I came on.
Oh,
hey, nominated is a great step. I mean, look at Susan Luch, that actress in the daytime soap drama here in America. She was nominated for awards like 32 times and never won a damn thing. But still, to be nominated is a great achievement.
Yeah, I know. To be nominated is an honor. That's what losers always say.
Nope.
Knock on wood.
Who's that? Who is that? I just heard somebody speak. I'm serious.
No,
I'm just saying.
No one here, best chickens.
I just heard hello. And I thought it was maybe.
That's the little ghost over your left shoulder.
No, that's
just in case.
What's his name? I don't know. I've not named him yet. I heard it at the start of the show. I don't know if anybody heard it in the podcast, but I heard a giggle. A giggle. Oh, is that what it is? See.
My sister's home.
You need to get a big sign outside your door saying production.
I do have a sign.
Flashing lights.
They got me for Christmas. It don't work.
Flashing lights. And a big hand that comes out and goes like that if they get anywhere near. You know? So, Drew, what are you working on right now on your channel?
Because we can hardly ever get a hold of you. What you been up to, man?
Dude, since 2023, or began, I have tried to increase the quality of videos I'm putting out. Right now, I'm currently working on it. And for those of you that don't know, and you know, I'm sure there's going to be some viewers here in America that are like, ooh, but I think most of the reaction, the positive reaction, is going to be from viewers in the UK. For those of you that didn't know, 2023 is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. And, you know, I've been a Doctor Who fan for 34 years. And I'll age myself here. I discovered Doctor Who when I turned 20 years old. So do the math. But I decided I was going to do, and I sent a picture earlier to Dakota of my the thumbnail for it. But I'm doing a video on the lure of Doctor Who, the longest running show in television history. And it's all behind the scenes with the fans, with the writers, with the editors, the conventions, things like that. Not to mention just the intro and outro where I'm at in there. I have spent 3 days so far working on just the special effects for it. And I've still got another 2 days of special effect, but this will be for a week from tomorrow. It'll actually premiere or debut on the channel a week from tomorrow, and it's just.
I mean,
let's just say I became Dr. Drew. There you go,
Dr. Drew. There you go. They're looking for a replacement for a new Time Lord. You could do it. What?
You never know.
You know.
I used to watch it when I was a wee boy. I'll admit, Doctor Who. I don't like the more modern stuff now. See, the more modern Doctor Who's I'm not really into it. I thought David Tennant made a good Doctor Who, but yes, he is Scottish. Maybe that's why I liked him. I don't know.
Well, I gotta admit, I'm partially impartial to Tennant myself because, well, I've actually worked with him before, so.
Yeah.
David Tennant is my favorite. Yeah. David Tennant has always been my favorite. Of course, Edelson, before him. I liked his go-get-em, tough guy attitude. But then again, both of them got to work with Billie Piper. And I've been in love with her for years. I would leave my wife for Billie Piper.
Uh-oh.
I hope you're not watching, honey.
You would leave his wife for Billie Piper.
All right. Well,
I hope you're not watching, honey.
Let's see. Billie Piper. Look, here's a contact info.
There we go. This is your moment, Drew. You need to message Billy Pike.
If I ever get written in as a new doctor, I'm gonna call Rose back to be my companion.
What about what's the other thing? Is it Amy Pond?
If the police box is rocking, don't come knocking.
Oh yeah.
Amy Pond, you know.
Yeah,
I thought she did a good job. She did do a good job. But you know, actually, it's weird she's talking about Doctor Who, because I was watching, it was about last week, and I was watching one of the Doctor Who's. What's the Doctor Who? It was made in the early 1960s, 70s. You'll know what I'm talking about. And it's in London. And his daughter's going out with a police officer. You know the one I'm talking about? And they get to the TARDIS, and they get sent back to London that's been took over by the Daleks. Remember that one? And they're drilling into the core of the earth. It just shows you what a guy am. Yes, I like my sci-fi stuff. I know.
It's not surprising.
Yep, the very first Doctor Who. I'm sorry. The very first Doctor Who I ever watched, the Doctor went back to Nazi Germany. And that's what got me hooked. The fact that not only was it sci-fi, but there was some history in there too, trying to set things right, that have gone wrong, or somebody has gone back and changed something, and then the doc has to go back and set right again. But other than the Doctor Who, the 60th anniversary of that, I have been working on. I just done a big video on Auschwitz, concentration camp in Poland. My wife's grandmother's actually first generation Polish, born here, and they came here just not 6 months before the Nazi takeover in Poland. And the video I done was about two boys that were at Auschwitz that managed to get out when the Allied forces went in, and then they returned in I believe it was 1991. Both boys went back. One of them took his wife and daughters back with them, and basically toured the camp and pointed out, this is where your grandma and grandpa were cremated at. This is where, terrible story, heart-wrenching story. I've done a video on the Dakota 38.
Oh, there you go.
Dakota 38.
I know that aircraft. Yeah. See? So
I'm really hitting the hard history this year, and I'm making the videos that nobody else wants to talk about.
Yeah.
The things that people. I have this motto on my.
To go and subscribe to you.
I was just going to say, I have this motto on my channel: no fluff, no filler, no BS. Look at history.
Yeah.
I don't do this.
Yeah.
This school crap that they teach you in school these days. I tell it like it is, and I always put a little viewer discretion at the beginning of my videos. That way, parents can look through them first before they want their kids to look at them, because you don't want your kids sitting down having nightmares for a week because they watch video. Kind of make your ratings go down a little bit.
Drew, would you ever go to Auschwitz? Would you ever go on a tour to experience it? I know people that have been there.
Oh, yeah.
I know people that have been there.
See, that's one of the reasons that I'm wanting my channel to really blow up, is so I can start traveling to some of these locations. I've told you and Andrina before, I would love to come to Scotland and do some of the castles. And
I would like to see both of you here in Scotland. You and Dakota with your kilts on.
Oh, I'd wear mine.
Oh, yeah.
I am not afraid of my legs.
The second I get one that fits me, I'm going for it.
Yeah. Dakota?
Oh, I just lost track of thought. I thought I had something. My God.
Do you want me to continue going? Here's a question for you. do you think that's something that's actually really interesting that you brought up there, Drew? Maybe you can fill this in. See, Auschwitz, has MD ever done an investigation there?
I don't know if I would actually do an investigation at Auschwitz.
Because what happened, yeah.
I think it would be fascinating. I mean, I think it was like 1.8 million Jews.
Yes.
And God knows how many non-Jew prisoners of war were killed there.
There was a lot of people willing.
I don't know. I think it would just be disrespectful.
There was Russian troops cremated, gassed and cremated. There was people with learning difficulties that were cremated, and there was also, what do you call them, gypsies. The gypsies were rounded up to,
Mm-hmm.
I think is it 9.5 million estimated. That's everybody all mixed in. That was they taken the ash and they dumped it in the nearby river. That's what they did. Because when I went to school, we actually, this is going back to the early 90s, by the way, if you're listening. When I went to school, I know that's a long time ago. Were you born? When were you born? In the 90s? But anyway, 96. Ken, that's weird because that's when this happened. But actually, a woman came to the school, and she was a survivor. She was a Jewish, and on her arm she had the tattoo, and she told she was a little girl, and the Germans came round the camps, and kids were taken away, and they were the first to be gassed, and it was so terrible. Mm-hmm. And they actually hid in the septic toilets. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she survived it. She could remember the Americans. I don't know what camp it was. But she can remember the American troops coming and finding them.
Yeah, it's sad. Every time I see a picture or something of what was a child back then, because it's been so many years. But when I see that tattoo on their arm, it breaks my heart to know they were treated like cattle. And as one of the boys described in the video, when they were taken off the cattle transports on the train, they were all told, leave your belongings here, they'll follow you. And once you left your belongings, they lined all the women and small children up on the I believe on the left. All the able-bodied men and older boys on the right, and unless the women had a special a job or something that would make them handy to the Nazis. And one of the boys was saying, it was me and my dad here, it was my mom, my sister, and two younger brothers over here, and I watched them being marched right down the line to the crematorium, and my dad and I had to go off this way. It's just so sad that we have that dark chapter in history. There's 5 million Jews and 6 million non-Jews, so 11 million people lost their lives in the concentration camps during World War II.
That's terrible. Go on.
One of the very first films I did was about a woman who actually survived Auschwitz. Her granddaughter became a filmmaker, and after her grandmother came out of Auschwitz, she wanted to, tour the country, tour Europe to basically just tell her story to try to get people to realize, things may be bad, but there's true darkness out there. Mm-hmm. We need to have each other's back. You kind of feel, some days it kind of feels like those times are lingering again, but nobody wants to pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah. We don't want that to happen again, because if it does, I don't think it'll stop at 10 million. I think it'll be more than that. I think it'll be a lot more.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, those people thought they were going for a shower to get deliced, right? Some were. They kept. I do know this because I did history at school. A lot of them were kept. The ladies were kept. You're right about that. Some of them were kept. The ones that were good with sewing because they were used to make like parachutes, and they were used to make parts of aircraft, like jets. Like see, like the V1 rocket, and the other weapons of mass destruction. They were used. They used the Jews to build the components of them. You know, yeah. You ever seen that film? What's that film? Oh, it's an amazing film. I had it in my head there and I've just went and forgot.
I can't remember the name of the film.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that it's an industrialist German and he saves the lives of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, not to go full Captain America Winter Soldier here, but it also puts you into perspective that the whole reason, one of the main reasons why U.S. managed to get to the moon was the fact that we took the same head of those very programs within the Nazi regime who utilized so many slaves and made him the head of NASA.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, we most definitely did. The man who headed up the rocket program when it started back in the 60s to get us up to the moon and stuff was a former Nazi.
That film has really annoyed me. It's got a scene in it where they're emptying all the hussies and there's this little girl in a red coat. Oh, what's his name? What is that? What is it? He's an industrialist and they actually saved thousands of Jews. What is that?
I believe we had watched that in school, but I can't remember what the name it was.
Oh, what is it again?
But then again, that's also part of history that so many people are trying to say, oh, we shouldn't teach kids that. We shouldn't give them nightmares. So, like, first off, yeah, I can understand you don't want to give kids nightmares, but you also got to teach this type of stuff. So hopefully the younger generations don't make the fucking same mistakes.
Well, and you know, I had the pleasure of actually going out to my daughter's school last week, and I was speaking to one of the teachers out there, and you know, he was asking me about my channel and how it was going and what I'd done, and I was explaining to him about, you know, the no fluff, no BS thing, and he said, good. He said, I remember when I was in school, we spent 3 weeks talking about the American Civil War. Yeah. We spent 2 or 3 weeks talking about the American Revolution. You know, now they spend less than a week. How do you cram 4 years? How do you cram 7 or 8 years into 4 or 5 days? An hour and a half class each day.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't. They hit on highlights. I've talked to my daughter about things, and she's like, "What? What is that?"
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, my God, we learned about that junior high, freshman in high school.
Yeah.
But her junior high didn't even get history until last year.
I remember.
They never taught history in that junior high.
I remember when I was at the primary. When I was young, when I was 6 or 7, for about 4 months. 4 months, all we learnt about was Normandy, and that's all we learned about was just Normandy and the invasion of Normandy and how they did it and how many men were killed and who they were and how they got there and the ships they used, and you know, they just don't teach things like anymore. And the name of that movie was Schindler's List.
Oh, okay. Schindler's List.
Yeah. You should do something like that, Drew. You should do maybe something about Schindler's List, because there's a lot of truth in that movie that nobody really talks about.
Nobody wants to anymore.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Nobody wants to. And it's sad. I mean, what you were saying about being in primary school, you know, and this is one reason that I want to go to the UK. I want to do Europe and do history. You know, when I started the original channel back in 2019, I did mostly American history. And then I started to question myself. It's like, wait a second. America has only been colonized by Europeans for 300 years. People live in houses in Europe that are 3 times older than the colonization of our country.
Oh, yeah.
There are Roman ruins still in Europe that are over 1,000 years old that are still standing tall. In the UK, in Portugal, in
It's madness because I can walk into my church in my village and it was built in the 11th century. I mean, that's...
So, I mean, when I went to Rome, our tour guide was telling us, they have a hard time putting in subway tunnels like they want to because they had to start putting in archaeologists on their construction crews because every time they start digging, they find something new.
Yeah.
Thousands of years old. And it's just walking through the streets of Rome literally felt like walking through a museum. And it's just...
look at the farmers. Look at the farmers all over the UK. They'll be out plowing their field, and they'll run into a cache of Viking coins or swords or something. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about fields that have been plowed 1,000 times in the last 1,500 years.
Yeah.
And they're still dredging up huge caches of coins. I mean, there was one just a year or so ago where they were out working their field and they come across like 1,000 Viking coins all cached together. It's like, my God.
There's a place near me, and I'm not going to give you the location because I know people that live in my village watch this show and listen to this show. I'm not telling you where it is. But there's a place near me, and it's actually, see, the Romans, a lot of people don't think they came across Hadrian's Wall, but they did. They made it all the way up to Edinburgh. They made it to round about Edinburgh, right? And obviously I'm near the borders, and there's a Roman road, I kid you not, that's maybe 100 yards from my house over there, right? And it's as straight as a die. I mean, you got to admit, the Romans built things perfectly, and to this day it's still there. It's as straight as a die. But when they were putting a new road through, they had to cut through it. And what did they find? They found coins, they found tools, and all stuff dating back. They found a bathhouse. They found a bathhouse that was built for the workers building the road, and the beautiful mosaic tiles that was inside it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I know America's got a lot of hidden things too. America's got a lot of secret past too that doesn't add up with like history. Okay, I mean, talk about Canada. If we jump into Canada for a second, at one point it was part of America. I mean, it's only a border that really, and they found like stones with the Knight Templars crosses on them. How did they get there? How did they get there? I mean, that's older than before America was discovered. I do think history...
Well, it just goes to prove, one of the biggest farces in history is Christopher Columbus. He discovered America in 1492. Christopher Columbus never came close to North America. He landed in the Bahamas, and then he landed on the very northeastern extreme tip of South America. He never came to North America, but Leif Erikson was here 500 years before Columbus was ever born.
Yeah. Yeah. There's evidence pointing that the Vikings made it to America.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Right up in Minnesota. Northwest of me, they have found the outlines in the grounds of Viking settlements, Viking walls, and stuff right here in North America. So You know, it completely. And see, one of the things, and Chris, we've talked a little bit about Scottish history and stuff before. One of the things that tickled me most about Scottish history, you had the Roman Empire. They conquered half of Europe.
Yep.
And they got up to a stopping point in Scotland, and they ran across the Picts. And Emperor Hayden said, "Oh, screw this. We're building a wall right here. We're lining this roll with troopers. They're not going to let these crazy animals south of that line."
Yeah.
They stopped. They were scared of the Picts.
Yeah. History is an amazing thing, and that's what I like about your channel, Drew. You go into the history. You should actually. Why don't you do like a live one night on that, or maybe like a video on that? Talk about the Vikings that came to the United States, because it's getting more and more evidence pointing to it. I think that would be amazing.
I've got a lot of things I'm planning, based on the donations, based on the growth of the channel. But I've got a lot of things planned this year. I was talking to Dakota a little earlier today, and, this year, for those of you that have followed me for a while or know me, this is all brand new. At Christmas time here just a few weeks ago, I had a Santa Claus on the channel talking about Christmas and stuff. And I come to realize there's an organization out there called International Real Beard Santas. And we have none in the state of Michigan. Now, a real beard Santa, if you have a chance to go to work at a mall or something like that, for the month of December alone, working 10 hours a day in a mall, you can make upwards of $50 an hour.
Wow. Right,
working as a Santa.
If I could actually grow a fucking beard, Chris.
We could super glue it on there, nobody would notice.
Yeah,
I keep...
Is this real? Is this real? Is this real?
I keep swearing up and down, poor Dakota, he can't grow anything from the neck up, and he has to have the hairiest ass of any grown adult male.
This is it. This is all I can
do. That thing has to look like a Sasquatch hanging on the back of his drawers. I
think he's named it. What's his name? It's just this. I'll admit, see if I didn't shave. I shaved last night, and that's me got stubble already. See if I didn't shave. By Friday, it would be out there. It's like a what is that?
I've only been growing this for a month, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like 11 months from now. But not only have I got the real beard Santa thing going, I'm going to be hitting more historic events this year. I am still, once again, based on the donations and the growth of the channel, I am trying to get. For those of you that knows what Roku TV is, I don't know if you guys have it overseas or not. But one of our streaming services, Roku and Amazon, have just made it possible to purchase channels. And, based on our paranormal investigations and stuff, I am looking at trying to purchase a channel which would be the first YouTube-based streaming channel that does paranormal investigation and does historic haunted locations. But we only feature YouTube-based guests. So if Vegas Paranormal wanted to come and join us for investigation, or Andrina, or Sherry, or you, Chris, anybody who wanted to come and join us. Now, it's not going to be like some of those other TV paranormal shows that have popular musicians come out as guest investigators or actors that come out as guest. It's going to be nothing but a YouTube ran paranormal channel that only features YouTube personalities.
Very interesting.
So I mean that's something I'm looking at this year. You know, actually being able to.
What was that, Chris?
I'm just saying you're the man for into the TV stuff because I don't have a clue.
No, I'm already working on it, but that package costs a few thousand a year.
Really? Is that how much it costs? Wow.
Yep. But the really nice thing about it is once you have that for a year, you can put anything on there you want. It is your channel to run.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. You say that. Right, everybody, donate.
Donate! Buy some Bonkers merch. We also
buy some
have a syncing license where you can sync up your stuff to our TV network. You know, give advertising opportunities, help you get some affiliate programs, all sorts of fun stuff. We can help you publish books, movies. We got the shit!
I know. And plus, if you want to contact Dakota, you can get him to make you intros. I mean,
just contact my secretary over here like everybody else needs to do.
Yes, just contact me.
Yeah, we'll put Dakota's mailing address and his phone number right down here at the bottom of the screen.
Am I going to have to get the vanity phone number? It's like 1-800-BONKER.
Well, you could buy it. We could buy a.
No, that could very easily be confused with a porn site.
I know.
We could get our we could get ourselves one of the disposable mobile phones with just an old SIM card in it. Put the number at the bottom.
Actually, I've been looking into getting the official company number, and 1-800-BONKER is available.
I need someone to make me some adverts for my channel. Are you available? But then you.
How about consult the forums online so I can get the information?
Well, stick it in the chat then. Stick it in the chat in the news so folk can where to go.
It's all right. Just go to baldenbonkers.net, look at services and more. The whole list of everything we offer is right there. I do not know how I can make it any more simpler for you morons.
And please, ladies and gentlemen, especially ladies, stop contacting me so as I get in touch with him. Please go to the main website and do what he says. Contact him straight through that. Don't come to me and then expect me to pass on the message to him. Do it the way he's saying. Please, I beggeth ye. You mean the messages I get?
First off, I'm going to tell you 2 things about Christopher. Never tell him a secret because he will blab it.
Yes, I will.
And he will not get the details right.
No. So if you're like, can I get a special thing made for my husband? I'll be like, Dakota, there's a woman there looking for a date for the night. And that's, honestly, that's, you know.
Okay, Chris, I've gotten enough trouble for shit like that. No.
But there you go, there's something that we could do. What about Bald and Bonkers dating for the paranormal professional? We could, Mr. Drellingworth here, we could give him
we need to actually define what professional is, because lately in the community, I've been seeing a bunch of teenagers define this
very true.
That's
very true.
Not cool.
Did you say a game?
Huh?
No, I said a paranormal.
I would have swore he said a professional game for paranormal investigators. I'm like, what, Baldnopoly?
Well,
that's a good idea. But
if they could put out a Christian-based Ouija board, we could put out a Bald and Bonkers Monopoly.
Yes, you know, you ask the board to speak to Jesus or something like that. I don't know, but
why do I don't need to do that.
The Holy Spirit is talking to you. Zozo.
He tells you to donate to this number: 0800-195-653.
1-900 bonk me.
Oh, that's a good one. Bonk me. But honestly, I see if we started our own dating website, we could have Drew Ellingsworth and the main page is one of our successful. We can just make it up, like, a successful. Well, guys, look, you could meet someone.
If we're going to go into that type of area, I know some girls to call who would actually bring people in.
There you go, Drew. Did you hear that there? He's got some.
My little black. God, I've just made myself sound like a pimp.
I'm out of this one. I'm just going to sit down here and look interested.
Dakota the pimp.
Dakota the pimp. Consult my black book here. I love how that just went blurry.
Dad, is that a galactic command trying to see what's in your black book of naughty things? I mean, we had Mike the Naked Bigfoot, where it was his big bad black book. You have got your black book of naughty things.
Well, I was going to consider our friend hand him over some of my black book numbers because it seemed like he was having some issue. But then again, what does he expect? Constantly yelling at everything is fake.
Yeah. He loved these shows about the women. Remember that night he came on?
Yeah, no. It was like, I had to leave TikTok because it's nothing but thirst traps. Like, you do realize that is based on your searches on the internet, right? What? Anyway.
He's going to get a visitation tonight for Mike. He's going to go. He's got to come to you. Ooh.
You said you wanted to come on here, Drew.
Right. See, Drew, you're getting to meet the bald and bunker guys. What we're really like. We're raving lunatics,
Well,
See, imagine one day.
Before.
I know he's been on here before, but can you imagine what it's got to be like if he ever wins that prize in Las Vegas? He's got to be standing there with his wee trophy, Or
just stroking my trophy. Hi, how's everyone doing?
Stroking it. Oh, it's my precious.
And how would that be different from any other day? You're constantly stroking your trophy.
Oh my God!
I know.
Or your ego. I'm not really sure which, but I mean,
I would like to see Dakota standing there holding his trophy in one hand.
I just want to go to Vegas. I've never been.
Neither have I.
I see that. I would proudly sit silently in the crowd as Dakota walks up there to receive that trophy. I might even nudge my date Billy Piper and say, I know that guy.
As long as we don't have a repeat of what's his name? He walked up on the stage and slapped the comedian. I mean, honestly, I think if that happens, I need to come, and so does Drew Ellingsworth. He's got to be our bodyguard. He's got to make sure we're safe when we go to bars and stuff. I mean, we're going to go to bars and stuff.
I would just love to go down the Vegas Strip in the middle of the night after I've been told what I've been told.
What have you been told?
Melons everywhere.
The only reason I want to go to Vegas is to get Dakota really, really drunk and have Elvis marry him to the first cross-dressing Marilyn Monroe I can find.
Oh!
Yes. And his name's Bob.
Okay, first up, I have chronic pancreatitis. That's not a good idea.
Don't worry. We'll drop you somewhere in the Nevada desert somewhere. Don't worry. Me and Drew will be driving off into the sunset, finding a bunker somewhere to hide.
I would love to go see the burial grounds of old Vegas, but...
Yeah. Do you know where I want to go? I want to go to Las Vegas. I want to go for the test of the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
I think it'd be seemingly the sand's been turned into like green glass. I know you're not really meant to.
Oh my God!
It's a bitchification.
Yeah.
Every morning when we do a live stream on Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have one of our guys that come on, and he does Today in History, and it's amazing how many mornings you will have 2, 3, 4, 5. 1966, America sets nuclear explosion off at the Nevada test site, and every day I make a remark. Yeah, that place with the glass ground and the 55-pound tarantulas. You know, anybody likes old classic horror films, there was a movie called Them about these 20-foot tall ants.
There was the Hills of Ice.
That's the nuclear test site in Nevada.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always wanted to go and see where these nuclear bombs were detonated. Is there craters there? Because I can use guys are American, use okay in this kind of thing. Is there craters where the bombs were tested?
Because not really, because the bombs aren't set off on the ground. They're actually set
so
off
they're dropped to a certain.
Yeah.
They're dropped. Yeah.
One thing I've always been curious about, and I've always said that if we were to truly get down in scientific with the paranormal, when dealing with ghosts and psychic abilities and that, you're going to break so many moral and ethical boundaries of people just because you're dealing with people dying and coming back. One thing I've always been curious of, what would happen if we drop a nuke, or at least an EMP, on a haunted location? What would happen to the spirits?
They'd probably still be there, but really annoyed with you.
I know, but they say nothing but energy, but that's supposed to kill off electrical vibes. So what happens to the spirits?
It depends what type of nuclear weapon it was, wouldn't it? I mean, if it was an EMP, I suppose that would affect
the EMP was built because they noticed there was a side effect that electrical devices would go haywire before a nuclear bomb went off. So again, my question remains. What would happen? People want to say, "Oh, spirits, their energy, their okay." Let's drop a nuke and see what happens.
So basically,
in theory, in theory, Dakota, you're making a really good point because spiritual energy is supposed to be electromagnetic forces. So to drop an EMP, you may not be destroying the spirit yourself, but you would be really, really damaging or destroying their energy signature, their ability to communicate, everything, because you're pulling all of the electromagnetic energy out of that location. So I can see. I mean, it would have the same effect on a spirit that dropping one of the what are they called? The bombs that suck the oxygen out of an area.
Air bombs.
Yeah, you take one of those and drop it on a small town or something.
That's actually
it would automatically.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting thing. If you could build an EMP device, say the size of this can, right, and say you had a house that was terribly haunted, the haunting was that bad, right? You could take this, you could take all the valuable stuff out of the house, right? The electrical devices. You could take this EMP device and sit it in the living room, put it on a countdown, go out the house, detonate it, go back into the house again. Could it destroy the spirits?
That's exactly my question.
Hence cleansing the house. But then again, it might open a portal to.
Oh, here's two things.
You not only would you be hurting the spirits, but you'd be damaging the house and everything else, because as an EMP, it would be completely taking out their fuse box. It would be completely taking out their car battery. It would be completely taking out batteries in the house, everything.
Right, say you had a haunted house, right, and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. They're attacking the family. You take on a removal crew and you take everything out that house, right? So the only thing that was in there was some wiring, right, and a fuse box. You detonate that. I
think I prefer cleansing the house.
That would be a very extreme case.
Yes.
In order to justify something like that.
But I wonder what would happen.
Come on, seriously, that's like getting a scratch on your leg and they just shoot you because you're damaged. You're going to the most extreme course of action possible. I've never been to a location that couldn't be cleansed, couldn't be blessed, couldn't be purified. So
it makes you wonder that, and I'll tell you something. I'm going to look into this tonight, and I'll tell you why. Dakota said,
"Oh dear God, Chris is going to end up on a watch list."
No, I'm going to look up this tonight. a lot of the areas where they detonated those bombs, right, were used by Native American Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if there's any spiritual activity in those zones now.
When you think about it, Chernobyl, one of the worst nuclear disasters in history, right?
Yeah.
That has activity.
I bet there was no EMP.
So it goes. It's going to go 1 or 2. I know. How are we going to know unless we have an extreme case we can test with, though? That's my point. It's either going to go 1 or 2 ways. Either it's going to ramp things up, like something that would make horror movies look like PG films, or it's going to completely kill it off.
Yeah. But how do you test that? Do you phone up the government? Hello there, is this Joe Biden? I'll tell you what it is. Can you drop a tactical nuclear weapon on this house? It's haunted. Just so as I can go back afterwards, you know.
Just drop an EMP on Eastern State Penitentiary, yeah.
Because it could make things worse if you really think about it, because you talk about the ET perspective in this. The ETs get affected with the nuclear weapons.
Exactly. And there's certain insiders when it comes to the UFO phenomenon that said all these reports of ghosts and that's not ghosts. That's the aliens fucking around with their tech.
Yeah. So what happens if you detonate?
You know,
just make things worse?
Don't even get me started on nuclear defense and UFOs, because every time I even think about that, I think about that sign out of Mars Attacks when they launched the nuclear missile at the mothership, and it pops this little probe out that causes it to blow up, then this big funnel comes out and sucks up all the nuclear energy, and inside they're sitting there getting stoned off of it. Treating it like helium coming out of a balloon at a kid's party.
I will admit this, that film Mars Attacks was the biggest pile of piss I've ever watched in my life.
I don't think it was meant to exactly be serious, though.
Yeah, I know, it was. It actually made fun of ufology.
Seriously? I thought it was like a History Channel remake of an alien invasion. Being sarcastic.
You got to be careful being sarcastic. You've seen some of the remarks we've gotten just on this show.
I know. It'll be, dear viewer, I am very disturbed. I am writing this complaint letter to you as I am an alien lover, and I watched the movie Mars Attacks, and I feel so sorry for those poor aliens in the end. P.S. Stop talking about bad aliens. Then it's going to happen. I'm going to get messages like that now.
If we're going to see something like that, I'm going to plaster that on the next episode.
I felt so sorry for those aliens in Mars Attacks, because if it wasn't for that damn dove, they probably very well could have been coming in peace. But you don't know. A dove to them might be like, setting loose a pterodactyl on a playground. I mean, that could be like the worst omen. So I blame the military. I blame the hippies on that. They come in peace. Mm-hmm. They were. Hey, everybody was talking. Everybody was calm and cool. That damn dove flew over, and then that started everything. So I blame the hippies.
I will say the only thing in that film that disturbed me was the thing that killed the aliens in the end was the music. That was god awful. What album?
That music almost killed me when I was watching it. What are you talking about? My head started to, vibrate.
There is certain cruise companies that play Britney Spears to deter pirates.
Oh my god.
I'm dead serious.
Arr, let's take the cruise ship over there. Arr. Oh damn, they're playing Britney Spears. We'll go for the captain.
What was that movie Tom Hanks did? Was it like Captain Phillips? All he could have done was play. I don't know. It's like he was a captain of the ship. I actually remember when this event happened, so it wasn't that long ago. Being that I'm almost 30, getting old.
I know.
But no, it's like, just think about it. That whole movie could be avoided if they just did a dance routine to Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Hit me baby one more time.
Just wait.
There you go.
It's like, I got
also
too tall
coming,
too fast, so...
Also coming to Bald and Bonkers soon is Britney Spears. Hit me one more time.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracies going around Britney, so why not?
Really? What's the conspiracies? She's an alien.
Gone missing.
Really?
Her and Kanye.
Wonder where they are.
And there's a lot of crap coming out of... There's a lot of crap coming from celebrities about breaking free from the Illuminati right now.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot.
Again.
Oh my God, Drew has let his secret out. He's really that actress. He dresses up and goes on stage.
He's a Britney Spears impersonator. Got it.
That's what it is. Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want Britney Spears to come to your birthday party, contact Drew Ellingsworth at his channel, and he will come.
No, don't.
Link's right there.
He does birthday parties. There you go. It's their Living Histories Mysteries. And he also does Britney Spears impersonations for birthday parties.
Yeah, I will travel with you to Santa Claus. I will not do Britney Spears, but I will do Santa Claus.
So, you rather just go off prancing naughty ho-ho-hos instead of being a naughty ho-ho-ho?
Yeah.
Just one more time. Oh my God, this show tonight has been absolutely mad. Honestly,
yeah, it's definitely awful.
I guess you could say it's bonkers.
It's definitely bonkers. So who is the guest tomorrow night?
Well, we should probably check up on her, being that she was just in a car accident.
That's right.
One of our newest hosts, Jana, she got mad at me calling her Jana Stone. We're going to give her a chance to shine on the main show, and she may be taking off with a brand new show on the Bald and Bonkers Network on her own. So we're going to try to get that sorted out finally.
And I would like to thank Mr. Drew Ellingsworth himself for coming on the show. You know, he's welcome anytime.
Hey, it's my pleasure. You know I'll come on anytime.
Check his channel out, ladies and gentlemen. It's got a bit awesome, the stuff that he's doing. Living History Mysteries on YouTube. If you want to pop in and see him in the mornings, because I actually pop in and watch him in the morning sometimes. And I know the guy you're talking about that comes in and he starts saying things that happened in this date, which I find quite interesting. You know?
Yeah.
Jersey Red.
Yeah.
I popped in a couple of times just so, because I'm just barely getting off of work and needing something to help me fall asleep. But it's definitely interesting.
You got to remember.
And that's what I keep doing the stream, is to help people like you.
Yeah.
Bore me to death so I'll fall asleep? Okay, thank you.
You should bring out your own sleep video.
It's on ASMR video?
Aye, like an ASMR video. You could. I'm taking out a cigar. I'm slowly looking at it, the fineness of it. I'm sitting there quietly. You know, you can do that. You can touch the mic and all that and make weird noises.
Yep, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it.
Hey, don't touch me.
We're sitting here tonight because I know so many of you third shift workers are on your way home. So just sit back and listen to my voice and slowly.
Please do not listen to these audio tapes while operating a motor vehicle.
Exactly.
And if you're an airline pilot, that's fine. You're allowed to sleep.
They have autopilot.
Aye, who needs to land? I mean, come on. Can it not do that?
No, they actually have their own little beds up there, and God,
Again, what does a pilot actually do? I could be a pilot. You take off, go to your bed, get up, land it.
There's a friend of mine who's a pilot, and she's kind of shown me. She's a taller girl, and so she showed me some of their sleeping quarters. I'm like, how the fuck do you sleep in this shit?
I would just like to say, is there any pilots that would like to come on and tell us some UFO stories of that? Because pilots, come on, all you need to do is push down to go down, pull up to go up, turn left, turn right, It's easy. He could do it.
No.
Take him any time. Come on, be fine.
Dude, you have to constantly adjust your trajectory in order to account for the wind.
Just follow the birds. Be fine.
Because if you think going to a straight line, no. You can go from a straight line to, let's say, like Scotland to here in Idaho. You're going to end up in Canada somewhere.
Be fine. You know, get a paper map. Get the big atlas out. Drawing pad and ruler. Be fine. I'm only doing it deliberately, guys. I'm no a raving lunatic.
You're sounding like a flat earther.
Don't bring
Yeah, I can.
Oh my God!
I can see it now. They leave Edinburgh on the way to Idaho, and in 9 hours they're hearing.
Oh God!
This is your captain speaking. We are approaching Manitoba, Canada. Manitoba.
I've never heard of an ugly Canadian girl, so why not?
Look, I've watched some stuff in that TikTok, and it's all flat earthers that is on there. We need to get a flat earther on here. No just for a serious interview, but for
they're
just
too
for
scared too. They're too scared too.
They're mad. They're completely raving lunatics.
I got nothing bad to say about flat earthers because we welcome all kinds on my channel. You got to.
So do I.
If you believe the earth is flat, so be it. I would love to sit down and talk about those beliefs because I've never had a flat earther on my channel.
You know,
I would love to sit down and hear what flat earthers have to say about those beliefs on why they feel the earth is flat. When it's a known fact that when you get in a plane and you get up to a certain elevation, you can actually see the curvature of the earth on the horizon. So, I mean, I want to know, you know, what.
I've met one. I met one once. And I says to him that, and he says, aeroplanes don't exist. And I says, what do you mean? He says, it's all hypnosis. I met a flat earther once, and I says to him about this, I says, what happens if you go to Australia, or what happens if you go in an aeroplane? And he says, well, that's the thing, Chris. When you go your holidays to Australia, they actually hypnotise you to make you think you've been to Australia and now in the aeroplane, and then you wake up 2 weeks later. Australia doesn't exist, and the aeroplanes don't exist. See, the airport, they're just taxing them about. And I went, okay. Oh, okay there.
That's the first I've heard the airplanes don't exist.
Oh, I've heard the airplanes.
Yeah.
I've heard the airplanes
that's the first.
No. Airplanes exist, but they don't fly at a certain height. They're only within certain radius. Because Australia doesn't exist, even though I've got family there. But they don't exist. It's on my mind.
I'm thinking of having an aneurysm.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know what it is for the younger generation. The younger generation are into it. I went to an ATM the other day. There's getting a cash machine, and someone had wrote on the screen, "The Earth is flat." The motorway service station, there's a big sign. You've probably seen it when you was here last in Scotland.
I saw it.
And someone wrote on the side of it, "The Earth is flat."
Yeah, I saw it, and like a week later, it ended up on Coast to Coast.
Yeah. The Earth is not flat, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
the Earth is flat, and so is your wife.
Mm-hmm. But if you want to come on the show and challenge us, do come on. It's a challenge I'm throwing out there. But if you don't want to come on, I know you are all making it up.
You know, you say these younger generation. You got to be very careful with that remark because there's a lot of Gen Zers out there who are apparently starting to promote bestiality.
What the hell's that? That's a new one.
Sex with animals. Like what you do with the sheep.
That's terrible. There's not been a case of that in Scotland for at least 6 months.
You know, within
6
about
months.
half an hour.
God, getting lazy over there.
I know.
Half an hour's drive from me. I believe this was about 20 years ago. There was a sheep born with a human face.
My God.
So this show's definitely been a disturbing one.
That's really interesting. That we should actually get somebody to come on and talk about that one night. Animal defects, you know.
It wasn't a defect.
Did they know who it looked like?
There were some rumors, from what I'm told, but the animal quickly died.
I'm really glad that Dakota brought that up, because I actually heard a story one time about a traveling salesman, and this traveling salesman would park his car and he would walk for long distances to talk to these different people, because he didn't drive his big fancy car up on their farms and stuff like that. So he was walking. He was walking down this country road one time, and he came up on his farm. He looked out in the pasture, and there was a guy out in this field just shagging the bejeebers out of this sheep. He had 2 big handfuls of wool, and he was just driving this sheep home, had his head stuck through a fence and everything. And the guy looked at him for a second. He's like, so he kept right on walking. He got up to the house. He knocked on the door. This little boy answered the door. And the guy looked at him and he said, introduced himself. He said, "Listen, son, is your parents home?" And the little boy kind of looked at him. He goes, "Your mommy, your daddy, are either one of them home?" And the boy just kind of looked really weird at him. He said, "Is either your mommy or your daddy home?" And the little boy shook his head no. He said, "Well, I'll tell you. I was just walking up your road, and there's a man out in your field back here, and he's doing very obscene things to one of your sheep." The boy kind of looked at him all weird-like, and he said, "Do you understand, son?" He shook his head no. He goes, "There's a man being very, very obscene to one of your sheep." And the kid just kind of looked at him. He tilted his head. He goes, "Son, there's a man out here having sex with one of your sheep." And the boy went, "Oh, that's okay. That's my dad."
Oh, dear Jesus. Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, remember,
yes,
there's a viewer discretion advised warning on this show for a very good reason.
And we're sorry if we've offended any farmers that may have been listening to this, but please go back to you doing what you do safely, and you always use protection.
Yes, and
remember, always wear your boots because you can stick. Yep, always wear your boots because you can stick their back legs in them and they can't run away.
And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you on Sunday.
Next time. Thank
you for coming, everyone, and cheerio.
Bye-bye, and no, we're not paying for your therapy.
No.